Bum, 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 bum. I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't know what am I getting? Where am I going with this? At least with this character build, I am breaking it all down in terms of how it operates. I mean, a lot of people will be very familiar with this, but one of my friends, Simon Abbott, is the one responsible for assisting me with this process, and hopefully people will find it interesting. Anyway, we are going to talk about the Paladin today. I'm doing my sound check. It seems to be coming through all good. We'll do a check to see if it can deal with my face. Thank you for showing up, Fred. How's it going, Justin? And we've got Thender. Is it Thender 8? Hi, how's it going, Thender 8? All right, so hopefully we've got a face up here. If we've got a face, that means that's good news, and I should be fine to be able to at least present my face for today. I don't normally do character builds, but I keep getting people asking me to do videos on a character build. So I will put the start time for this video down below for those of you who are interested, but it will go unlisted, and therefore you only can access it through your notifications or if you're a patron. But I will edit the video at a later date so you can actually watch it later on. I'm doing pretty well keeping up with all of that for those of you who are interested. Look, if you haven't been part of my live streams before, normally I present everything first and then I open up for questions and answers or feedback, which is exactly what I'm going to do today. How's it going, Matt? The day has come. The very first time I do a character build. So let's stop mucking around. You'll let me know if it's laggy and so forth in terms of my face. Sir Mordekainen, Simon, is that you? Oh, it couldn't be. Sir Mordekainen? I mean, if I got you mixed up with somebody else, I'm just wondering if that's Simon watching right now. It could well be. I feel like it might very well be. Bones and Crows. Bones and Crows. Welcome, everybody. All right, so settle back, grab some food, drink, whatever, and let's have a talk about character building. And this is this is a weird one for me. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons 5e because I always talk about Dungeons and Dragons. But I have to thank Simon Abbott for providing me with this character build because we're doing a Paladin Relentless, or the Relentless Paladin character build for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It is Adventurers Legal, so you can use it in the Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League if you really wanted to. I was very tempted to call this the annoying Relentless Paladin build, or character build, but I didn't do that because it might scare a few people off. So we are here to talk about how to do this. I've been provided with a step-by-step sort of plan from my friend, and this is the first step. You want to take human variant race. Pretty obvious. Most people already know that the human variant is pretty powerful, but we're doing that because we want to be able to put an increase in our abilities into strength and charisma. So we're going to pick up that, and we're going to sort of truck on and utilize the fact we can get feats faster by getting it feat at level 1. So that's part of the reason for doing that. In terms of your point buy, really what we're looking for, this is what I was offered, and that is we're going to put 15 into our strength, 15 into charisma, because we want to increase both of those with our human variant bonuses there, since we can do that. And then the rest of it, which will mean that our strength will be 16 and our charisma will be 16. Really important, both need to be very high. Your dexterity, 10, constitution, 14, and of course we're going to dump our intelligence and wisdom and give them both an 8. Now you can adjust anything like that. That's not going to be an issue, but you really want to probably stay with the high charisma and the high strength, although there are other ways of doing it. Okay, what about the next step? Well, we're obviously going to take the Paladin class, and in fact you're going to take all of your levels in Paladin. What we're trying to do is work our way up from level 1 through to level 7. It's when we hit level 7 that things start to get a bit crazy with this build. Hence why we're aiming for that particular point. So what oath are we taking? Well, it's pretty obvious. We're taking the Vengeance Oath because it's really good, and there's lots of different reasons for doing that. What is the feat we're going to take at level 1? Well, we're going to take Pole Arm Master at level 1. It's a no-brainer. It's been done before. It's very familiar. I'm sure you'll all be thinking, this is not new at all. May well not be for you. Okay, but at level 4, we're also going to be taking our Sentinel feat. Yet again, a combination of Polearm Master and Sentinel feat, not new. But the difference is that when we hit level 7 with our Paladin, we get access to Relentless Avenger. And Relentless Avenger essentially allows us to do some stupidly helpful things in combat, which essentially means we can use it as a way of blocking the monster, provided all of our conditions are met, and we've got a lot of things in play to allow us to make that possible, and we're not going to ever get hit. It is appalling what you can do when you put your mind to it. Our first obvious weapon, what are you going to take in terms of a weapon? A glaive or a halberd. Halberd, is it halberd? I believe it's a halberd. So, the idea is that when an enemy, and we're really only talking about one enemy, and I know you're looking at the picture and you're thinking, well, Fred, when has there ever been a single orc attack the party? And you'll notice the formation of the party and the position of where the Paladin is. This is actually very important, because this is the sort of thing you're going to have to do. So, okay, fair enough. One single orc, probably not going to be the case. Maybe we'll go with an ogre instead. Okay, we'll go with an ogre. So when the enemy moves within 5 foot the reach of our reach weapon, with our glaive or halberd, we are going to be able to potentially stop their movement completely. We will also get to make an attack of opportunity, and if it hits, it's going to stop their movement. And then we'll also be able to, in the same reaction, we're going to get to move half our speed, 15 feet, backward, essentially meaning that we can attack and do a whole bunch of damage, and then move away, and the creature can never actually get in contact with the party, particularly if all it does is use melee or close quarter attacks. A terrible technique, but useful in certain circumstances. So let me break it down and step by step so you understand what's going on here. So first off, our creature has to move up, so charge up, our ogre moves up. Now the thing is, it doesn't have to get up within 5 foot. It can actually be 10 foot away, so there could be a space of just 1 square between us. So the enemy moves into the 10 foot reach. This allows us to get our opportunity attack with our Polearm Master feat. If we hit the target, the enemy's speed is now 0, and this is from our Sentinel feat. Remember to Divine Smite. If you hit the thing, make sure you're using Divine Smite. This will just mean you can just smash it over faster. Although, since the strategy is so potentially so effective, and as long as you are hitting most of the time, you might not even need to worry about using up your spell slots with Divine Smite, and just rinse and repeat the same technique over and over again, which is appalling, I know. Okay, now, because of our Relentless Avenger, provided we hit the target with our opportunity attack, we get to move half our speed backward. That's right. We can move half our speed backward. That's 15 feet we move back, which is why we want our party to be further back than 15 feet so that they don't wind up with the monster rushing into them on the next round. This is essentially what's going on here, right? So we've reduced the speed, and when we do so, the ogre doesn't get to make an opportunity attack. So even if it has a 10-foot reach, or even if it's got a 5-foot reach, it's not going to make any difference because we don't get attacked by it and we get to move out of reach. Essentially, it means the enemy never able to hit the Paladin ever again. What an appalling technique to use. Now, there are some problems with this particular method, and one of the most obvious problems is it's likely to annoy your dungeon master, who is going to shift their techniques and tactics and use different monsters in the game if you start using this particular character build. You're probably going to annoy your players because they will have to hang back at least 20 feet to make sure they're out of the way so you can perform this rather bizarre tactic. Some of them might not have an issue. And of course, instead of moving forward, you're always going to be moving back, including your party members. So if you've got party members who like to be up close and they have to hang back so you can do this, that's going to really wear on them. The other problem with this particular technique and tactic is that even if the Relentless Avenger tactic, it's very strong, very effective, even if it doesn't work, with the use of your pole arm master feat, and with Sentinel, and the fact that you're a Paladin and all the other things that you have available to you, it's still an incredibly powerful build, which is why the use of those 2 feats and that particular class feature is so effective. Now, how do you counter this particular character build? I've always found it frustrating myself. There are actually a couple of different things you can do. This particular Paladin does not work well if there is a group of monsters. So if you have more than one orc, going to be a problem, because it's not going to work. They can just surround you, and even though you can stop the movement of one creature and you can get back out of there, they may decide to run past you or around you to get to the members who are further behind, particularly with orcs who are able to move incredibly fast. So just a problem there in terms of dealing with a group. Also, if you're dealing with somebody who's clever, like a dungeon master who decided to use ranged attacks, grabs that hill giant and just throws rocks at you, or shoots arrows, or has a flying creature that can do ranged attacks with spikes or a breath weapon, then it sort of shuts down your ability to use the Paladin in this way. In fact, usually Paladins don't work well against ranged attacks or flying creatures anyway, so that's really one of their biggest Achilles heels. The other problem is if the Dungeon Master decides to pull out a monster which has a greater reach than the Paladin. Yes, that's right. If the creature has a reach that is greater than the Paladin, then they can just sort of sit out of the position of the reach of your glaive or halberd and just whack away at you, and even if that is just a single enemy. So there are some problems with this particular build, but still, in terms of a Paladin build, it is incredibly effective. And when you start using things like your smite spells, you can really start developing some rather peculiar effects in the game, given the right conditions. And the right conditions usually for a Paladin is to make sure that you have a single enemy. They can shut down a single enemy very well. With groups, not so easy to do. Okay, that has been my character build for today. I have to thank Simon Abbott, and if you want to see more videos like this, and you want to see Simon actually tell you about it, I would suggest you say, Simon, we want you to explain to us what crazy character builds you have in mind and how they work and how they can be countered. Because I know Simon won't just explain to you how to do it and why it works that way. I know he will also tell you what all the weaknesses are and how it can be shut down. And I know that's something he will often tell me. So I'm sure he would be willing to share that. And if you want to see him on camera, you're going to have to make a whole lot of noise to make sure he knows that he has to actually do that sort of thing. And you never know. I know Simon likes to talk. So I have hundreds of videos for players and dungeon masters, which you are welcome to go and check out if you feel like it. I have affiliate links down in the description to the book depository and Amazon if you want to support the channel. I also have a Patreon page where you get access to all of the live streams that go unlisted, and a whole lot of other content that nobody else gets to see, and priority on the videos that I make. I also have a merchandise shelf just underneath the video if you're interested. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell button if you want to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos. And of course, I do a lot of them. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, I'm not gone. So start typing in questions or feedback. I'm sure a few of you have used something very similar to this. I just need to readjust my office. Oh, it's done that. Hang on. Ugh. You wouldn't believe it. Sometimes my office is still hung together to a large extent with blue tack and just the will, the will of the glue, and with the sun heating everything up, it sort of comes apart. I'm going to have to come up with a better strategy for dealing with that because it keeps occurring. Okay, so it's time for my glasses, And time to get my face back in the line so that you can actually see a person, and we'll have a chat about this. Now, I haven't had to deal with Relentless Avenger before. I have had to deal with the Sentinel feat, and I've certainly had to deal with the likes of Paladin Master in that combination, but I didn't realise just how crazy things could get. And of course, there are so many ways, and I've done videos on how to get advantage. So the likelihood of missing your target, particularly if somebody drops something like Bless, and you're not going to be outside of the range of Bless. And they drop Bless down, you've got a D4, and on top of that you've got things like your Vow of Enmity for the Paladin, the Vengeance Paladin, which allows you to get advantage, which is really, really useful. So there's no real reason why you shouldn't be able to hit, although that does not play into your attacks of opportunity. But hopefully this was useful to somebody. Hopefully it was entertaining in some way. Thank you for everybody who showed up. Let's wiggle on down this list of names here in the live chat. Lord Sparky, keep up the great vids, Fred. Okay, I will try to do that, Lordy. Lordy Sparky, love the name. Man, some people come up with some very creative names. Matt, no monk, criminal background, that's the next one. I don't know about that. It'll depend on what Simon has decided to do. Yes, Paladin school. Yes, how to use your Paladin in the most, well, to be fair, I suspect the next character build that Simon brings will be the most broken one, which is definitely the wizard. Should I say the cleric wizard, where you start off with a level in cleric, and then you go into wizard, and after that, really, it's pretty bad. It works better without a party. Yeah, Sir Mordecai, yeah. You don't want to party around at all. Yeah, just on your own. Just keep moving back. Exactly. Yeah. Roll those wooden dice. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, the wooden dice do look nice. I have been using the wooden dice a lot in my game, been rolling them all the time. Move at an angle, not directly backward into the rest of the party. Yeah. Well, you can draw them into the party, so they're going to draw them away from the party. I don't know that they're necessarily going to work that way. that would just allow the monster to, you work back towards the party and you use yourself as a block. You're putting yourself between the party and the creature. That's the whole point. If you go back it on an angle, then the monster has two different routes it can take. Epidermis Ghost. Would a 1E Cavalier lose his Cavalier status from using this cowardly approach? Yeah, Relentless Retreat. I should have really called it the Relentless Retreat, because that's essentially what it is. But my new 5E Paladin is a bow specialist. Oh, that's actually very different. I hadn't really thought about that. It doesn't really work. How do you make that work with a class that's really built for close-up smashing? That's really what it is. It's built really for getting up close and making an awful mess of everything. I'll cast Wall of Fire to his rear. Think Legolas with a paladin attitude. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Well, I'm hoping that people enjoyed this. What's that? Sir Mordecai just asked to play a bugbear with extra attack. I'm sure your DM will agree. Nah, you never know. I don't know about that. The thing is that all of what I've just talked about is all in the player's handbook. And the only way that you're not going to get to do something like this is if your dungeon master says no or doesn't use feats. And most dungeon masters nowadays are using feats and allowing multi-classing simply because it is, although they are variant rules, they are assumed to be used most of the time. I've come across Simon says yes. So Matt's gone with a yes, we want more Simon. I know Simon would explain it better than I could. He'd probably make it more complicated too by providing you with more details that I can't explain. But that's sort of one of the things that comes into play. What's that, Matt? The giant miniature with the boulder. He rocks. That's right, he does. Yes, hill giants with rocks always rock. Thanks for the vid and the channel. You're welcome, Ghost. No problems. Fred, what's this? OP build, there is a weakness, but can be exploited. Exactly, which is why I've explained what the weaknesses are and how they can be exploited. Sir Mordekainen, with Polearm Master, you should be always moving out of combat to trigger your reaction attack. Yes, that's right. You should be always moving away so you can trigger it. And consider mobility to enable you to move faster and shut down opportunity attacks on you leaving combat. So, yeah, I suspect that Sir Mordekainen is in fact Simon. I get the very distinct feeling that he's watching right now. I know he's supposed to be studying, but I bet you that's Simon right now. That's the name of his character in our campaign, for those of you who are unaware. And right now he's running a tactic in the game that has really sort of changed things significantly. Thank you, Nick, for the super chat. Well, that's awesome. So I knew this would happen. I knew that if I did something like this, which is outside of my scope, that it would probably get a good response. Not that people don't give me super chat for doing other topics, but thank you very much. Been away for a while and just caught the stream. I'll have to rewatch when published up, and great work, Fred. Hey, thank you, Nick. No problems. And thank you for the super chat. And I'll just make a quick note of, look, that merchandise shelf, I really did trim down all the prices. You should find, if there's any sort of artwork that you like, and yes, keep rolling those 20s in there, all the prices are significantly down from what they were before, so they should be a bit more manageable if you were interested in having something in a coffee cup or on a t-shirt or whatever. Okay, what else we got here? Bones and Crows. If a Paladin moves backward out of combat, wouldn't the enemy get a free attack reaction? No, this is the thing. So Bones and Crows, the concept is, because of this relentless Avenger, you, as part of the reaction that triggered the opportunity attack, so when you get the opportunity attack, when it comes into reach and you get to use your Polearm Master feat, you get to make an opportunity attack. Now, if it hits, you stop its movement, but you also get your relentless Avenger class feature for the Vengeance Paladin at level 7, which means you can now immediately, as part of that whole process, you can move half your speed backward, and that does not provoke any attacks of opportunity. So that combination is incredibly broken and can be exploited in the right conditions. So yes, you don't need to worry about getting a reaction on you because it stipulates, it's one of those specific rules that overrides the general rule. Polearm is intended to be extended reach, stay out of the enemy's melee range. Yeah, exactly, that's really what we're going with. If you read Relentless Avenger, your movement doesn't provoke attacks of opportunity. Yes, which is why that combination is so effective. It is, I know it's, that's it. They come in, you make the attack, and then you run away. If Hubba. After he's done, he can scroll back the time on the video and rewatch it all. Yep. To a certain degree, remember the edited version does not get the Q&A, so it won't actually look like a live stream. Most people who watch the edited versions, unless you watch my channel and my live streams, you won't even know. In some cases, some people don't even know that I've actually done a live stream. They think it's actually a pre-recorded video. Which is fine with me, since a lot of people like that sort of thing. So, as I said, thank you so much for Simon Abbott providing us with this detailed breakdown on how to make your Paladin even more broken than before. And if you want to see more videos like this, and you want to see me and Simon together doing it, then you have to pressurize him. You'll have to put pressure and leave comments in the edited version saying, Simon, give us more, because he knows more about it than I do. So I'm going to, my next video will be on the Curse of Strahd. We're going to do Blinsky dolls. I've been wanting to talk about Blinsky dolls for a while. So I'll be back at about 1 p.m. New Zealand Standard Time. So if you want to hang around for that, you can. Thank you to all of my patrons. Thank you to everybody who's been watching my videos and my live streams and supporting me and coming back video after video and live stream after live stream. So have a good day, morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world. Look after your family and your friends and yourself. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.